Greetings, this is Jerry Revier of the Avaya Serviceability Engineering team. Today we're going to be looking at implementing IPv6 on Communication Manager 6.2 and the key screens to provide that implementation. We'll be looking at implementing IPv6 in a Communication Manager 6.2. To start, we'll take a fast look at how CM interfaces with the Ifconfig command at the Linux prompt. Then we'll log into the SAT and provision the procr6, which is the IPv6 interface within Communication Manager. procr6 allows Communication Manager to communicate out on the IPv6 network. The balance of the commands shown will show provisioning or status of IPv6 enabled components. Please note, we'll be seeing provisioning of the Communication Manager 6.2 in the following screens. If you should be enabling IPv6 in a Communication Manager 6.0 or 6.0.1, those screens will be similar, but may not be exactly the same. To start, I have entered the Linux shell and have entered the ifconfig command. The output shows the IPv4 address as you would typically see it. But what we are interested in is in the box marked as shown. The two iterations of IPv6 addressing are shown are the link local address and the global unicast address. The link local is unique only on the local network, and the global unicast is globally unique. The address starting 2001 DB8 is known in IPv6 as the documentation addresses defined in RFC 3849. I have logged into a SAT session using the PuTTY client and entering the CM virtual machine's IPv6 address. Noted previously, IPv6 was enabled in the CM virtual machine, which permitted me to use IPv6 for this session. The first screen we are looking at is the IP interface screen to administer the IP interface known as procr. The procr interface is also where the procr6 is enabled on page 2. Moving to page 2, notice that there is a yes/no field to enable IPv6. I am changing it to a Y and pressing the Submit key to enable IPv6. The next screen we'll be looking at is the Node Names IP screen. The node name of an IPv6 access device must be entered here, same as a device accessed with IPv4. I am entering a node name and an IPv6 address of an LSP that has been previously configured with an IPv6 address. Using the notation, I have duplicated the first characters of the IPv4 node name and appended a 6 to the end to imply the IPv6 node name for this device. It is worth noting this system is being configured as a dual stack. That is why both IPv4 and IPv6 node names are configured. You will see this usage in other places as well. In the Change Survivable Processor dialog, we will add in the IPv6 node name of the survivable processor we added in the previous node name dialog. This will allow the survivable processor to accept translations and register with the main server either using IPv4 or the IPv6 protocol. I have entered the node name for IPv6 and have now pressed the Submit key. The next screen we will look at is accessed by using the command list survivable processor. As shown, the survivable processor in record 1 has both the IPv4 and IPv6 node names and the address displayed. The IPv6 node name is the one we just previously provisioned. The IP network map defines an IP address range with a given network region. This has been used for many releases of Communication Manager with IPv4 addressing. The screen as shown here also allows for IPv6 ranges to be configured. I am entering a range of IPv6 addresses associated with Network Region 2, which already has an IPv4 region defined. I have entered the starting address and the standard mask of 64 in the subnet bits column. The network region associated with this range. A VLAN could be defined if necessary, and finally entering the ending address. I will submit the screen. This is a display of the list registered IP stations command. Note on the display the registered IPv6 telephones. The list registered IP stations command would be used to determine what protocol the individual station has registered with. The last screens to be displayed are of the provisioning of a G450 media gateway. The display media gateway command output has been expanded to 2 pages, as the IP addressing shown at the bottom of the screen has forced the gateway module's layout to the second page. As with the IPv4 addressing, the gateway's IP address, PMI6, is pushed up to CM upon the initial registration to the application. The list media gateway command displays the high-level status of the media gateways in the system. With respect to the topic being discussed, note the IPv6 address configured on the gateway's primary management interface, which is shown. Note the gateway is registered using IPv6 as it has the CM procr6 address shown in the controller IP address field. And that concludes the setup of CM 6.2 with IPv6. Thank you for your time today. We hope this information was useful. We welcome your comments, questions, and feedback at mentor@avaya.com or on Twitter @AvayaMentor. Thank you for choosing Avaya.